not. It's painful for me. It really is. But I know too that that's part of me not having arthritis. It's part of me not flaring up. It's part of me, and I can take pills if I want. I can take my maximum dose of ibuprofen if I want. I can take my maximum dose of sulfasalazine if I want, and and one day eventually lead up to biologics and starting injecting things into myself because the sulfasalazine no longer works because I've never taken care of myself systemically or physically. Instead, I choose to get up and go to the gym and push myself to the limit if I can to avoid having all this shit cascade down on top of me. That's, I think, a responsible approach to life, and it's something that I think everybody can take control of.
When I say I am, what's the word that comes after that? Mm-hmm. Because whatever comes after I am, that is the truth, and that is what I will create for myself. Mm-hmm. So I would...
It's interesting, almost this exact point that I've been repeating to myself when something frustrating or something perceivingly bad or that unexpected happens that isn't positive. They said, don't create a dialogue around it. Yes. Okay, so I drop my cup and I break a wine glass today, and it's like, why am I creating a dialogue? There you go again, stupid. Yes. There you go, dumbass. Always doing stupid things. If that's the dialogue I choose to have with myself versus, fuck, I broke a wine glass. Well, that sucks. Take a deep breath. Make sure there's no glass around here and get on with it. Because you know who also broke a wine glass today? Fucking Gordon Ramsay. Or some really qualified chef, or the best waiter in the world dropped a glass today. Why am I creating this dialogue? The universe is against me because I can't find my keys or because I can't... You know what? Shit happens. And sometimes shit happens more in one day than the rest. And that's what I'm trying to train myself with is don't create this story around the little things that are happening. Big things happen and those need to be dealt with. But not finding my keys doesn't mean I'm the biggest idiot out there and I need to start berating myself and feeling bad about my whole day is going to be set off because of that. No. Yeah. No. And it's just recognizing those little cues where stop, let's create a different dialogue around this if we can, or just stop creating a dialogue around it and just get moving. And that's easier said than done, but that's what you're talking about in the baby steps. It takes a little goes a long way, but it's also to understanding that I'm going to slip at some point as well. Like yourself, there's going to be an episode. There's going to be a day where it's like, for some reason, I don't know. I don't understand why I feel the way I do, but I'm just kind of out of it. And I'm not performing at my top level. But I also know too that this is minimizing those deeps are becoming less and less the more I'm working on the small steps moving forward. I can get back to where I was before I slipped. I know I can. It's a case of, again, applying those. I will get there again, understanding that, yes, when I slip, I haven't failed either. And that's, I think what I'm trying to say is that slipping isn't part of my dialogue either. It shouldn't be. See, now you're back here. Now you're feeling like shit. You've always been, this is where you belong. Everybody has those types of thoughts, I think, even the best of us, but it's not allowing that dialogue to happen. That's what I'm trying to do a lot more these days. And then when I have those days or those split moments where it's easy to attack myself, I don't know, would I attack my girlfriend for that? Would I attack my mother for that? Would I attack my siblings, my friends? Of course not. What would I say to them? Well, how would you say that to yourself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true. I've wasted so much time in my life having those dialogues in my head. And I'm at a point where I'm really excited is when when someone breaks a glass, and this happened recently, a couple of months ago. I was with a young woman, and she was starting a new job, and she was stressed out. That's as it is when we start a new job. And she dropped a glass. And I saw her start to panic, that heat come up her body and, the redness, and we've all been there. And then I can see these thoughts starting to explode in her head. And I just walked up to her and I said, all that's happened here is a glass is broken. Yeah. That's it. Nothing else has gone on here. So the next steps is all we have to do is clean it up. So all you have to do is go get a broom and clean it up. And then there's no problems. Like nothing wrong has occurred. The only thing that's happening is, if you have thoughts that make that wrong, right? And it's just a glass that broke, it's really not a big deal. And I'm at a point in my life where when I end up in a situation where I start doing something that I feel like it's a past pattern, where I'm sabotaging my own self, I like to look at it as, I like to ask myself, like, this is so interesting that I'm here again. what did I not learn last time? Like, what are my takeaways?
Yeah.
Do I need to go through this whole process again? Or can I just remind myself of how I want a better outcome? And what were my takeaways last time? And like, let's implement those takeaways and let's not go that way again. Let's make this shift to another way of being.
Yeah, Mike, that's what I would say about, almost it's an educational opportunity. It's a silver lining on a shitty situation at the end of the day. Here I am, but what can I learn? I was going to ask, was that a cannabis event that you were at where the glass dropped by any chance? Or was it just a networking event? Or?
It was just it was at a restaurant. It was at a very, very, very nice restaurant.
Yeah, which makes it even worse.
I know. Yeah. And she was just like, she's so nice. She was just the sweetest, like, most amazing, like, hardworking person, and she's someone who will be very successful in her life, and I see so much of myself in her.
Well, you're an empath at the worst of times, so it's, as am I, so a little sensitive to your surroundings and whatnot. I want to tie this back to the cannabis side of things and still with the mental illness side, but you were saying that cannabis has helped you. I want to split that into two silos. Number one, I think you spoke to the therapeutic aspect. That using cannabis has been generally helpful and positive for your journey with mental illness. The community, I find, though, is what's given me, and we can also split this down into two silos as well. But the positive side of the community here has really allowed me to feel nobody should be fine with their mental illness. We're struggling with that. That's always a fight, but it's allowed me to be fine with the fact that I experience these feelings too, that I experience these feelings as a male also, which is really nice because, again, not trying to talk about gender inequality, but talking about feelings, I think, is typically something that females do more often than males do. So being afforded this opportunity to be able to admit that, hey, you know what, maybe I do struggle a little bit more with this than I should. That's been really awesome. And it's just normalized, I think, cannabis, we're normalizing cannabis, and in the process, we're normalizing a lot of other things that cannabis is supporting, and mental illness is being normalized in a good way. Not that, we can all fall back on it as an excuse, but I think that's a real bullshit half-glass full way of looking at it, or half-glass empty way of looking at it. The half-glass full way being we've opened up a dialogue and made mental illness an accessible conversation for people that may experience just mild forms of it, but are still able to say, hey, you know what, I feel this way too sometimes, and that's not right if you feel that way. And there are better ways to feel, and this is advice that I should be taking of my own as well. I'm just simply pointing it out, though. This community and cannabis in general has made mental illness a topic that is approachable, I think. I'm not sure if you've experienced that.
I agree with you. I say I am new to being out of the cannabis closet, even though I'm a long-term consumer. And by participating in the cannabis community, for the first time in my life, I really feel like I've met my tribe. I've gone through the first 40 years of my life feeling like an outsider to the world, because I was never really a big drinker. I went through periods, but it was never like an element I felt my most comfortable in. And when I did feel comfortable drinking, it was probably due to heavy, excessive drinking out of insecurities and this desperation to belong. And it's such a toxic behavior. And so I had to really switch out of that and shift into not doing that, which is isolating, because most people like to drink. And I really I've always liked smoking joints and getting high, but it's a very lonesome experience, and I would have to hide it from my neighbors, and so I'd always be going for long walks, and it really separated me from my family at points in our lives when, if cannabis consumption had been permitted, we could have become closer. We could have gotten to know each other more. Maybe my mother could have survived cancer. The dialogue and outcomes could definitely have been different.
I totally get that. So.
And so the cannabis community, you're right about the mental illness. It's a personality type where we're very empathic. There's a lot of support for people who struggle, because we all have a bit of that. And I love hanging out with Canada people because we all like to go home early.
Mm-hmm.
We all respect, there's like this introvertedness to us. So
Yes,
there's a lot of respect for people needing space.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's just a lot of support and there's a lot of love. And there's a lot of forgiveness for episodes that people have.
Yep.
I think the trick is we just need to be responsible with how we show up. And then the forgiveness is there and the openness is there. But we all have to be responsible that if I speak out of turn because I'm having an episode, I've got to take responsibility for that. So.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the second part to that silo, and we won't go down that rabbit hole too far, but that it is a good thing being exposed to things like Instagram and YouTube where people are talking about cannabis and their mental illness or their the therapeutic value of that and opening it up to others to make it more accessible. But like any social media platform, it comes at a cost. There is a lot of there still is a lot of insecurities, and there's still a lot of things about the cannabis the cannabis world, good intention or bad intention, that still it can come across as though everything is through rose-colored glasses. And I think everybody has to understand that despite the dialogue being out there, we're all still putting our best foot forward on social media, right? And we have to understand too that like people constantly say to me now, where the Lift conference was interesting. It's like you're exactly the way I thought you'd be. You come across always so happy and positive, and passionate, I guess, is also another word. Sometimes I'm a little over impassioned, but people will tell me that, hey, you're always so positive. And like I say, you talk to people that live with me even, and it's like, they wouldn't know, what are you guys talking about here? Sorry. Yeah, no worries. We got,
Okay, go on. I want to video you.
What's that?
I wanted to video you, but I broke my phone, and every time I touch it, it gives me an electric shock.
Oh my god!
I know, and then
it's like or do you have like a taser phone cover now? Is that what it is? I don't know. I never know with you. You got this big light, but next time it'll be laser beams that fry my retina or something. I might need to go back and tell me exactly where I was.
I got distracted by my phone shocking me.
I was like, what the heck's going on over there? Like, are you taking a call? I mean, we can push pause here.
I have an appointment at the Apple store today.
We will make sure you make that appointment, come hell or high water.
Right, but this goes back to, I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, no, please do. I love interrupting.
This goes back to my thing where when something's happening to me, like my phone giving me electric shocks every time I touch it.
Are you not learning? Is this like the fork in the socket sort of thing? Just stop touching the tap. Just keep your finger out of there and it'll stop bleeding. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. And so I just think this is so funny. Like, I wonder why the universe has created this for me and what I'm supposed to learn from this. Like, do I touch my phone too much? Probably. Now I'm a little bit afraid of it.
Maybe you're meant to meet somebody at the Apple store today. Maybe that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So it's funny, right?
So the universe is a funny way of, figuring things out on our behalf. And there's a real funny way of, playing a lot of tomfuckery on the way there. Excuse my language, but I'm not going to excuse my language. Okay. I swear. Anyway.
So pardon me for that narcissistic distraction.
You narcissize away.
And back to your...
Well, I mean, it was probably a narcissistic story too, but people were coming, that's what it was about. People were coming up to me and talking to me about, oh my God, you're just like you are online. You're happy and positive. And like I said, you ask somebody who lives with me or who has lived with me in the past, and that's my best foot forward, guys, right? At the end of the day, I have my moments where I'm frustrated as fuck or I'm angry as fuck. And I mean, you've seen me be impassioned. I hope not so much aggressive. Well, maybe a little aggressive. But I have my moments of where I look back on my behavior and I'm like, holy shit, was that actually me? Where I step outside of myself and I can watch myself being a complete asshole, like a deliberate asshole, or just somebody that isn't this positive, happy person. I'm not here to out myself as not being happy all the time, but I also want everybody to know that life isn't always smiles and sunshine. It's and the same with anybody out there, right? We just have to still appreciate the fact that despite the fact that we're also part of a community that makes us feel welcomed and makes cannabis and mental illness and our problems accessible, we also don't want to exacerbate those problems by looking up to people that, don't put people on a pedestal, I guess. At the end of the day, we are all human beings and we all have flaws and we all have our problems. And it's also fair for these people they're entitled to have their problems. I guess is what I'm saying. We're all entitled to that, and if they don't express that, one day they might. But understand that everybody has issues. Everybody has their own problems. Everybody has their own demons. And it's a sunny world, Instagram and social media. But yeah, understand that it's not always smiles and sunshine for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a best foot forward kind of place, and don't judge your life against that, right?
No, that's
and I'm
very depressing.
Victim of that too, but it's hard. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not going to rant too much more about that. But it is. It's a valuable message to have. None of us are the face of, whatever's on our Instagram. None of us are like that 24/7.
No.
None of us. And neither should you be.
No.
All right. Are you afraid to stop filming me, or is it like?
I forgot I was filming.
I'm like, am I on live here?
I just got so into this.
Anyways, so we're. On topic, off topic. I didn't know that we are. This is
okay. So next topic. Strain of the week. Okay. So you do this because I just rolled us 2 personal-sized joints.
Yes, what was that? That was very tasty.
That was your birthday gift to me.
That would have been
November 1st.
That is ultimate. Oh my God, so that's why I loved it. They were so sweet, the terpenes on that.
You take this away, you'll know. So talk to what we just smoked.
So yes, what we just smoked was something that I picked up from Top Leaf before they shut their doors. I guess it was early October in 2017, but it was the ultimate indica, and I'm still a little miffed with those guys. I had hoped they would have said, no. What you need to do right now is load up on 3 or 4 ounces of this stuff because it's so beautiful. But for an indica, it reminded me almost of a blueberry, but it was grape. There was sweetness to it. There was this insane, beautiful, fruity note on it that honest to God, it was so unique. And Ultimate doesn't even come close to describing the bouquet that I smelled, and that's what this one is. I might actually get my nose back in that jar if the terps are still good, but it really was such a unique indica. It was so sweet. It was just nice and different. So it was a Top Leaf strain. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's like grapey and jammy. It's not kind of Space Queen, but it's not Space Queen. Space Queen is still a Top Leaf strain, or at least the one that I enjoy, and that one is has got a little bit more hints of like a basil and a herbaceous kind of smell, but this one is a lot sweeter. So yeah, that was what that strain was. So thank you for sharing. That's I'm gonna have to chase these guys down for some more at some point. But
I've been saving it for a special occasion. I've been like hoarding it, which is not a good idea.
It isn't a good idea.
It's meant to be consumed.
Well, anything in that regard. It's weird because that's one of the things that I said to myself on New Year. I think it was New Year's Day when I was alone, or maybe it was Christmas Day. I can't even remember. The night was so wonderful, but I was staring down a 2.5 hour burn on a can of Gar, not a can of Czar, but a can of Gar that was it was a half ounce of Alaskan Thunderfuck. And I think it was a full gram or 2 grams of rosin in there. And I'm like, I've been saving this for a special occasion. The special occasion never seems to happen. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? Today's a great reason because it's there, and so are you. And it's quiet, and it's the holidays, and you got nothing to do. So, and there's an 800 milligram rose right next to it. Let's eat that one later on. Thank you, Products by Sec. But yeah, it's that one went down as well. But it was one of these. I was looking at that rose, and it's like I keep saying I'm going to do this all in one shot. I keep saying I'm going to, and I finally, and this again was purchased pre-legalization, anyways. But yeah, it was one of those things I'm not saving for a rainy day anymore. I'm not saving for a special occasion. Yeah. Now is as special of an occasion as any, unless you have it earmarked. Next week, my buddies are coming into town, and we're doing it. But if there's nothing on the horizon, today's as great a day as any.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that, and that's just it. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. I used to say this years ago. Hey, it's there. You know what? Yeah, if you got them, smoke them.
That's my 2019. I cleaned yesterday. I did a deep clean on my canna closet, which I do actually quite frequently, which would be in alignment with my other mental illness.
Which is?
So I want to get very organized for 2019. I've been so excited about this all this cannabis for the last couple of years. I really want to narrow my focus in on getting to know only a couple of strains a week. So that means I have to actually consume all the cannabis that I have now to make it make more sense. Because I just have a lot of cannabis.
Yeah.
Little bits here and there that I'm saving for that special occasion. And what I really like to do for special occasions is the Canazar. That is my go-to. I love the Canazar.
Yeah,
so
I've been a
much.
fan of the Czar for a long time. I totally understand where you're coming from too. It's, I mean, there's nothing really bad to say about it. It's
the best. And consume it fresh.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I've seen them rolling these things, kind of thing, and it's nice to just kind of get one right off the hot off the press kind of thing. It's lovely, and that, there's that almondy taste. I just get so. I love the pull on that to begin with. There's just a lovely aroma, and they're using such fresh materials that it comes across really nice.
So nice.
Yeah, big fan.
And it's meant to be shared, and it creates community
And there's a CBD one, I think, now, or there was anyways, floating around out there. So, but if I'm going to do the Czar, I'm usually going to dance with the Devil in Pale Moonlight. I'm going to go full THCs. Sorry, I'm a nerd. It's an old Batman reference. If anybody needed the placement there, my strain of the week. Are you looking more for sativas or for indicas yourself? I'll leave a little bit with you.
Oh, are you asking me, or are you asking the listeners?
No, I'm asking you. Indica or sativa? Which are you leaning more towards these days?
I'm always a sativa person, and that just has to do with how I typically consume, which is I only maybe smoke 2 joints a day. One of them is before my yoga or tight club class, and so it's usually in the morning, like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or noon, and.
I'm usually not up that early. Well, I may be up that early, but I'm certainly not getting ready to go in full physical onslaught. So good on you.
Yeah, well, and that's after the 7 a.m. class is after our morning dog walk as well. And Kundalini meditation practice. So.
Oh my God, you're far healthier than I am.
What? Oh yeah, and then I usually smoke another joint, around dinner, before dinner, evening dog walk. Yep. And then that's it. So
what do you do in the later evenings? You do anything right before bed?
No, not really, unless I'm not feeling well.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. No. Because I use it for creativity. I'm really good at sleeping. It's actually my superpower.
That's awesome. That's a great resume booster.
So.
I would love to be involved in a few studies relating to sleep for sure, but it's, but yeah, mine would have to, again, be after not significant amounts. I don't have massive trouble sleeping. It's more I have massive trouble not being woken up kind of thing. It's little things. Although what's interesting is that I've slept through my hedgehog escaping and walking through my bedroom, and other people that normally sleep through fucking train wrecks are like, oh my God. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, oh, you heard the nails of my hedgehog running around and the hedgehog running around.
Can we just stop right there?
Yeah. And
can we focus in on my hedgehog?
Well, it's our hedgehog, but yeah, my hedgie. It's what about my hedgie? It's
You've never brought him up before, so I think you have to tell us about your hedgie.
It's a her. Her name is Sum Sum. If you don't know what a Sum Sum is a Disney toy that looks basically like a foot ottoman. Yeah, but and in my head before getting it, I kept calling it Sum Sum in my head, and it really just stuck. She literally looks like a Sum Sum. And this is a 2-factor story. Number 1, she looks like a Sum Sum, and number 2, I'm going to write a cartoon script about a hedgehog that's going to basically take the form of every other Disney show ever, like a Finding Nemo-esque kind of thing. But, I'm going to spill it out there for anybody else if you want to run with it, because, I've got other plans anyways. But I'm going to write a script about a little hedgehog that, conquers whatever. And I'm going to take that to Disney, but lo and behold, the hedgehog's name is going to be Sum Sum. Why? Because Disney actually owns Sum Sum. That's their trademark. So why wouldn't they want to create a movie surrounding a hedgehog? Hedgehogs are going to have their fucking day. I've been watching, and they are getting popular. So is Gudetama. But, and Gudetama's a lazy egg yolk. We won't get into that yet. But the hedgehogs are going to have their day. So I figure if we coincide as a hedgehog cartoon named Sum Sum or an animated character named Sum Sum and go to Disney and say, hey, guess what? you want to sell a lot of Tsum Tsums this year. Tsum Tsum hedgehog, it's just like a match made in heaven. So that's why she's named Tsum Tsum. She is as prickly as she looks. She's very antisocial, and that's what hedgehogs are all about for the most part. But she does warm up to me, and yeah, we cuddle sometimes. She'll come fall asleep next to me sometimes. So it's. But yeah, she's a more sensitive hedgehog than others. She was the runt of the litter, and I get verklempt every time I talk about this. But when I went to pick her up, I could actually see the others pushing her away, and they would all gather and go and sleep in their little areas, and she would kind of try to get in, and they'd literally push her away. I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm not leaving here without you." So. Oh, Tsum Tsum, you're my little one. I love you to death. My little bean, I call her. But yeah, she's the light of my life because I'm not allowed dogs in my building. So it's so I get a pet. I get somebody that relies on me, and that's actually something that, no matter how prickly she is, she makes me laugh. She makes me smile. So yeah.
How old is she?
She is just over 2 years. Her birthday is October 31st, actually.
Oh my God, that's crazy. She's a Scorpio.
Hallow hedgie, yeah.
Oh my God, you have a Scorpio
She's a Scorpio. Well, that makes sense now. Like, yeah, she's got a million little prickly stingers on her back. And just for the record, hedgehogs do not shoot their quills. They're actually just big pieces of hair. They are prickly and they use for defense, and it's tough to pick her up with bare hands if she's, which is the noise that they make, but it's when they're really pissed off. I mean, otherwise they'll squeak here and there and whatnot. But yeah, it doesn't feel good. But they're not going to jump up and stab you and poison you or anything like that. She's just. Yeah, they're just harmless little creatures, and you just want to be left the fuck alone. So
so crazy. So I almost share the same birthday with Tsum Tsum. So my birthday's November 1st.
Oh yes, well,
so maybe because you know her so well, like I'm like a harmless creature that also wants to be left alone.
Maybe that might be it, and that's just it. It's like, you come out of your shell every now and then. It's almost like, she wants the attention, but she's going to pretend she doesn't, but not like a cat where it's like she literally is afraid of the attention, but it doesn't mean she doesn't want it. It's just like, I don't know. Does that sound like you? Ultimately,
I think it does.
We getting deep? Maybe you need a hedgehog.
I think I could learn a lot from her about how I behave.
Yeah. Sleep a lot and poop a lot. And
Sleeping is my superpower.
Well, you got one down anyway, so now we just got to get you fed. Now we just need to feed you. All right, so I've got a hedgehog. You've got Link.
I have Link. Everybody knows that. I think people are quite tired of Link.
I don't know about that. Link is just basically like a hedgehog face, a scrunchy hedgehog face, where it's like you can't help but smile. It's like you're so like, hey, I just want to be part of this. That's your, how can you be like, no, of course you're part of this, buddy. Of course you're part of this. So yeah,
people know him. He goes to some of the cannabis parties. Mm-hmm. His birthday's January 4th, 2007. He's 12 years old. And he's half Australian Shepherd, half Pomeranian.
And 100% cute. All cute.
He goes heavy on the eyeliner every morning, and he crimps his ears and fluffs his tail.
One nose, quote unquote. Yeah.
He definitely has some anxiety, just like me, and we're very similar.
I should bring Tsum Tsum over here if you turn the heat up to probably about 60 or 70. I don't even know what a normal
in Celsius? Is. Are you talking Celsius?
Yeah, no, it's usually like 22 or 23. Like you got to keep hedgehogs a little bit warm. They are an exotic pet to a certain degree, but they're really not that difficult to take care of. Are there
sweaters for hedgehogs?
No, there aren't, and there shouldn't be. So here's another public service announcement. Don't wrap anything around your hedgehog, including a harness, because you think it's cool to go and take it for a walk. What are their natural defenses? They're like a blowfish, okay? So they expand and they get into a ball. And if they have something that is constricting them and making it hard for them to expand, that's going to hurt them. So please don't put anything on your hedgehog except for a hat. Hats are fine. Just don't wrap anything under her or his chin, but you can put a hat on top.
That sounds hard.
Oh, and here's another public service announcement. If you go to Japan or any country for that matter that does have hedgehog cafes, please do not frequent them. This is akin to animal abuse. Hedgehogs, sorry, because I love little hedgehogs and I know a little bit about them, I'm going to impart a little bit of knowledge. I know it looks like fun to go and play with hedgehogs, but find an owner. that has a hedgehog and ask them kindly if you can come visit them in an evening when the hedgehog is awake. They're nocturnal creatures. They shouldn't be awake during the day, and it doesn't really matter if you pre or recondition them to be awake during the day and asleep at night. That's harmful to them. They're meant to be asleep during the day and awake at night. So they're not meant to be handled by people constantly, and especially different people either. They are an antisocial creature, so you're essentially going in to what amounts to somebody that has anxiety and shaking their tree constantly and creating anxiety for these little guys. But really it amounts to the fact that you are taking them out of every natural environment they could possibly exist peacefully in and creating something for somebody's monetary gains. So you're essentially abusing these creatures, and I'm going to say it flat out. And if you have done this, I'm not chastising you for having done this. I want you to just never, ever again do it in the future. And don't be mean to others that do it, because I see it a lot. And some people send me pictures of them doing it, thinking that, oh, hey, here's that's great. I love that you're engaging hedgehogs, and your intentions were entirely pure. You weren't sending that to me to be like, hey, look, I'm abusing a hedgehog. You had no idea. But now moving forward, understand that is actually, it's torture for those little guys.
So it's Chinese New Year coming up, and we're in Chinatown. And so they brought out all these like different types of greenery that is in alignment with their culture. And this is new for me. So they're offering different types of flowers. And so I'm looking at this.
So what are we looking at? What kind of flower is this?
I don't know the names. It's a red flower, and it's tall.
It's red, it's tall. It looks like a bird of paradise, but it's not.
Yeah, and then I think it's a bamboo stem. And then there's these red wispy flowers, and the red wispy ones are from the...
It's like a baby's breath.
Almost. Yeah, baby's breath, and that's from the Tokyo Smoked Broccoli party way long ago. So it's like a kind of combining, but I treat myself to flowers because I used to wait around for a man to buy me flowers. And it was so weird. And I would make, men wrong for not buying me flowers and get upset and get uptight or get emotional. And when I didn't have flowers, I would want them. And I solved that problem by just buying myself flowers all the time. And then I eliminated that need. And I actually saved myself like a lot of anxiety.
Well, it's interesting not to, kind of flip it around. It's like men don't normally get flowers. And I think I've received flowers maybe 3 times in my life as a gift. And it's like, honestly, it's pretty awesome. Any guy that doesn't like look, and they've been from females to me kind of thing. And it's been awesome. Number one, I like flowers. Number two, any guy that says he doesn't like flowers is just doing it because he's tough. I mean, flowers are beautiful. If you don't like beautiful things, then all right, man. It's like, you're putting up a defense. Flowers are gorgeous. Who wouldn't want to receive flowers? They're beautiful. I mean, maybe you would rather have received a 12 case of beer or something, but at the end of the day, it's something you wouldn't buy for yourself that at the end of the day is a beautiful addition to anybody's home. So flowers are kick ass as far as I'm concerned. I actually wanted to go into floral artistry at one point. It's just a hobby, a sideline hobby, but I actually had contacted, I think, a couple of florists in the city to ask if I could pop in. And what's interesting is that I've been inspired by a lot of these. I think it's 3C downtown LA. Anyways, on Instagram, it originated this beautiful shot of an arm holding a bouquet or a bouquet of cannabis.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't wait until we're able to express ourselves in those types of ways. Where at events we have centerpieces that are entirely buds and flowers. Yeah, sure, it's a $300, $400 bouquet or whatnot, but so is a normal bouquet, it seems, these days. Could you imagine having beautiful cannabis, like real cannabis in a bouquet? It's gorgeous. If you've seen these images, they're absolutely gorgeous. So, to tie in the flower side, I can't wait until I'm sitting here and they're actually just bouquets of cannabis and cannabis flowers that are decorative instead of,
Yes.
Well, not even instead of anything. I just can't find it anywhere because I don't know any growers, but I would love to have that in my home.
I think now that it's legal in Canada, depending on your strata, that we are permitted in BC to grow 4 plants as long as nobody can see them.
Yeah.
And, I think some strata's concerns are the strong scent the plant can give off. But if you still want to grow, like you were just pointing out, I think just growing, was it Ruderalis is maybe not gonna give off the same scent. I'm making this up.
Maybe, and that's just it. Are there options, is what you're saying. Are there options
to get that leaf for the pots of flowers that you want to create the bouquets from? Well,
still, a hemp plant. I don't know. Can you grow a hemp plant in here?
Probably.
Just like kind of who gives a shit? Just throw a seed in and let her grow. It is called a weed for a reason. They're fucking weeds, man. They grow everywhere. I have people from all over the world be like, yeah, I just threw some seeds down. It's shitty weed, but it's still weed. It's like, yeah. It was recommended to me by some people in the industry way back in the day. Just go, I lived in Alberta, find a quarter plot of land with a bunch of trees on it and basically go out and plant a line of trees along that, or a line of seeds along that quarter plot of land, strip of trees that are separating to keep the wind from destroying the crops. It's like, I had no idea these creative, it's like, don't worry, it'll grow. It'll grow. Just give it a few months and go back. It's shitty weed, but it's still weed, right? And I was 20 at the time? So shitty weed was still great weed if it was fucking free. I didn't do it, but it was, it's a weed, man. It grows everywhere. So, if it can grow as a hemp plant and I don't need to, care much beyond just getting this beautiful leaf out of it, then maybe I'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we'll need to get a grower on here at some point to teach us how to do that. Let's get back to topic here. We're going to have some guests on. We're totally going to stay a little bit more on topic and have it a little bit more scripted when we do have guests. But in the meantime, why don't you guys leave a comment either with Unity or myself, and we're going to go through the shameless plugs here in a second. But the link is usually directly to my YouTube page right now, so feel free to leave. I'll use my shameless plugs at this point. Leave a comment on the YouTube page. Let us know if you kind of like this shoot from the hip format that we have, where we're just literally talking shit for an hour. Hopefully relating it back to cannabis. Let us know what you think about guests. We're going to have them whether you like it or not, but let us know who you might like to see on the show. And again, you can DM myself via Instagram at Matchstick Marijuana. You can listen to this via YouTube and comment there. Outside of that, matchstickmarijuana.com is my website. You can contact me there, comment on anything there, and here's my shameless plugs for this week.
My shameless plug is I am Unity Marguerite at Unity Marguerite on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Easy to find me. And I'm also the creative director at Bliss Cloud. So Bliss Cloud is a beautiful site.
It is a beautiful site.
Thank you.
I like poking around on that. And it keeps me up to date on a lot of stuff. So
yeah, Bliss Cloud's easy. It's just a more insider, intimate interaction from a blogger's point of view on cannabis. It's fun. We do events. We do lots of things. We're going to be doing an event with Pink Sesh coming up in February, and Verde V, and a lot of other amazing women out there. Definitely sign up to our email list so that you can be privy to the first invite to this event.
And some of your events sell out within minutes. It's literally get on the email invite list if you're wanting to be involved in local cannabis. I've seen it happen. I think it was at your event with Lifford. It was pretty much sold out before you even had it up. So definitely get on a mailing list, because some of the events will have a little bit more availability than oothers. But yeah, if you leave it too long, you're typically scrounging around looking for a backdoor invite, and they usually don't happen. So.
Oh, that was so nice.
Well, it's the fucking truth. So, anyways, I speak truth. So, should we wrap this up here? Anything you'd like to leave as a last final comment? Outside of apologizing, like I'm going to apologize for whatever tangents I flew off on today. But yeah, I hope we made that fun for you guys.
Last comments. I really want to say thank you to at Bliss Love and at Wendy Shep, because they came over here yesterday. We did a photo shoot together, and it was really, really fun connecting with them and spending time with them. And there's a new golden turmeric, golden milk drink from Bliss Love, and it's just full of all my goodness I love so much to stay healthy. So had some of that, and it was delicious. And Wendy Shep is a local photographer, and she's somebody who just creates these beautiful images around the industry from her point of view, which I love because it's so different from mine. And she's a photographer to know and to book in Vancouver. Both wonderful women. So thank you so much, both of you, for coming over yesterday. I appreciate it.
Awesome. I think I might second the Bliss Love side with a somewhat personal story about their silicone lubricant. I haven't been huge on, I mean, okay, I joke and joke and joke. Every guy should joke like this. Lube, I don't need lube, right? So legitimately, I don't need lube, but seriously, I tried this stuff out and it's infused with THC. It's a very well researched, silicone lubricant, or silicone based lubricant. That, we can sit here and laugh and giggle about it, but I promised them I would give it a whirl. And literally within hours of receiving the stuff, I had the opportunity and, I got into it a little bit, and I will say, whether it was like taking a Cialis, which we can get into later on in a much later episode, where it gives you either this placebo effect that you think, hey, everything's fine now, you got everything you need behind you, just go, and you go like the wind, and it's like, yeah, you've got stamina coming out the yin yang. This is a message for men, well, maybe for women, for their men. But the Cialis, I think, they say that doesn't provide any kind of stamina increase, but every guy you talk to that has taken Cialis typically has this increase in stamina, and I suspect that might be psychological. With this, I don't think it is. I don't know that I went into this with in fact, I went into it with lube is lube kind of thing. Literally, it was high performance. I filled up with Supreme that day. It was one of those kind of days where it was just like, wow. Can I directly correlate it to? Well, I can almost directly correlate it to. It was an extremely powerful session. Let's put it that way. So I'm very happy with the results from this, from the two ways. I suspect it does support men in their stamina. I suspect the THC does have an effect on that to support some increase in stamina. Let's put it that way. From a female standpoint, well, let's just put it that way. I can't really assess it properly because your stamina is increased to the point that it's going to be fucking amazing regardless. So it's like, was it the lube or was it just the fact that, you were a rock star that night? Well, I was a rock star that night, and I can't really fully assess whether or not the lube, it helped me, but did it help her? We're going to have to do more tests. So what I'm saying is I look forward to following this up at some point, but that is a huge shout out to Bliss Love. Like I don't use lubricants myself very often for one reason or another, whatever it is. And I actually had a very positive experience with this. So good on you guys. Thank you so much. Second to that, I don't know if anybody you want to interject. Yes, please.
Can I add to the Bliss Love? So she's fascinating because her grandparents actually come from near the Kush Valley, which is the original location of cannabis. She has a tight connection to it. And all her products are actually Ayurvedic. Then she went to Kerala and studied Ayurvedic medicine in Kerala. So she's like very, very well educated, like very tuned into this whole plant medicine, Ayurvedic. And cannabis is part of the Ayurvedic I don't know what you call it, syllabus, part of that medicine already.
Yeah, she was mentioning that to me as well, the connection between everything, and it's legit. Right? Yeah, she has, and Bliss Love, knows her stuff.
She knows it, like she's not making it up, and she's super knowledgeable about cannabis, like one of the most knowledgeable people I know what they're speaking to cannabis. And I've been using her toner and face cream, and I haven't had any acne breakouts or anything, which is huge because usually I get them because of my yoga practice. It's quite gross, but I end up putting my face or my forehead on the mat quite a bit.
Yep.
And mats are kind of disgusting.
Like once you touch something once, there's bacteria.
Yeah, it's so gross. So anyways, I haven't had any problems using her products with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had a good experience with her products too. So I'm looking forward to what else comes down the pipe with her. Yeah. But yeah, at this point, lubes and moisturizers are where it's at. So 2 turntables and a microphone.
So I stole your thunder back.
Well, it's not thunder so much as is taking us back to a point I made last week as well about competition. And was it last week that I think I went on the rant last week about embrace your quote unquote competition, because there really isn't competition. There's just people that are expanding our share of voice with other markets. And I would like to compliment somebody I came across this past week who is, he's probably my competitor, if you want to call him that. Is, on Instagram, it's the Cannabis Som. He's the cannabis sommelier, but it's THECA, the cannabis SOMM on the tail end of that, the Cannabis Song. And he's rocking it on YouTube. He's somebody that has lit a fire under my ass and has inspired me as well. And that's something that I'd like to get up to his level as far as some of the quality in the photos, his confidence too, and how he presents himself is entirely different than me. But at the end of the day, I view this guy as a brother. He's doing good work and he's expanding our share of voice. And I look forward to either growing with the guy or simply watching him grow, because if he grows, chances are I'm going to grow. If I support him, chances are he's going to support me. And we've already had that discussion. We're both fans of each other already simply because of what we're doing. So really happy to give that guy a shout out. I look forward to meeting you soon at one of these events, or when you're in Vancouver or I'm back in Alberta. But rock on, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay elevated. And yeah, I love your content. So check him out, the Cannabis Sommelier. All right.
So kind of you, Cobb.
Whatever. That guy's rad. He's gonna do more for me than I am for him. I guarantee you.
That's awesome.
So not to sound selfish, man. Anyways, let's wrap her up here. It's we're getting to that time where we're going to start boring folks. So we had our last final comment. So I guess I'm just going to say thank you again to everybody who's tuned in and who's given us the support. Both you and Unity and I, we're having a really great time doing what we're doing right now. It's a great way to start our week, and I hope you guys are enjoying starting your week with us as well.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's been so supportive and kind and reaching out. And thank you so much, Cobb. You are really like slaying this, and I'm so appreciative of everything that you're doing here. Thank you.
You are very welcome, and thank you as well. It's always lovely to be here. So beyond that, thank me once we push pause or stop and realize that we haven't recorded everything. It's always a little bit scary with technology. Don't worry, things are there. But we're going to say goodbye.
Did we not record this?
Tell you what, goodbye, everybody. Good night, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. We're have a nice week.